Hey, everybody, welcome to the Recoup. I'm Cooper Daniels, and I'm a guy that knows a little about a lot. And today, I am here with the creators of the ARC NFT project, the Spectacular Cats NFT project, and Project Raven, which launches on Saturday. Well, the public launch is on Saturday. I'm here with Sevanya, the artist, and Fatalix, the developer. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Coop. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Did I say that right? Savanya's the artist, and Fatalix, you're the developer.
Yeah, the tech guy. Yeah,
the tech guy.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Tech guy.
You guys must be so busy. I can only imagine that with this launch, you guys, I don't know, you have 200 traits. I mean, you guys are kind of at the forefront of ARC19, kind of pushing that forward in a cool way. So hats off to you, and thanks for taking the time to join me.
Thank you very much, for having us again. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was going on for all of those past several weeks. So yeah, we were busy. We're still busy. Hopefully after Saturday, it's going to be less busy. So that's the idea, because stress is the biggest factor, because we still don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. But seeing all of the positive feedback so far, we are kind of really looking forward to Saturday anyway, for so many reasons.
Yeah, and one of them is clearly that it'll be over Saturday. So I mean, Saturday will end, and hopefully it'll end. What are you? I mean, I have so much I want to talk to you guys about, but what are your main concerns about Saturday? Is there anything specific, or is it just in general you just want it to go smooth?
Well, I don't really have any concerns, in fairness, what we have achieved so far is plenty enough, tech-wise and the art-wise, so if whatever's going to happen is going to happen, we have really no control over it at this stage. So ideally, if it would sell out, that would be a really great achievement, especially considering the fact that we are actually aiming so high and considering our price as well. But other than that, the biggest thing we are waiting for is for the stress to be over, because the wait is really killing us. Yeah. And, with every kind of hour closing in to that day, we're closer to actually getting past that point. So that's the biggest thing, really,
I mean, I understand that. Do you have a vacation planned? Are you headed anywhere? a project.
That's very inappropriate question, considering how much work we actually have, even after the release. We were planning some holidays, but because of all of the mayhem with the airports nowadays in Europe, lost baggages. Recently, we were reading in news that there were 4,000 lost baggages coming over to Dublin Airport.
And also canceling flights.
Yeah, and canceled flights, strikes and things like that, so
it's quite risky.
I'd say we're better off in our backyard.
I was going to say
quiet, less crowdy, and we are actually facing it southward. So whenever the sun is actually shining, it's actually really nice out there. We actually managed to actually get to the beach one day, and we ended up over there, and it actually started raining. So we went back to our backyard. It was actually so much better.
Yeah, literally, we got off the car. We stood for 5 minutes, thinking, are we going to the beach or not? And we decided to go back home.
And just hang out in your backyard.
Exactly.
It's only 5 kilometers away, and the temperatures drops.
It was 5 degrees, so it was actually substantial. So that's Ireland for you.
That's Ireland.
That's well, I mean, Ireland for me would be a vacation. I've never been to Ireland. I just had a baby recently, and we named the baby. Thank you. We named the baby Declan, which I'm sure there's a few Declans in Ireland, and
plenty enough,
yeah. And that was to I'm not Irish. I don't think I look Irish. Maybe I do. I don't know. But my wife is. So that was in honor of her heritage. All right. So look, we have a lot to talk about Project Raven, but I kind of want to zoom back a little bit here. And actually, Fatalix, now tell me if I'm remembering this correctly. Now, this is a little kind of inside ball a little bit, but probably about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago. Who knows how long ago this was? Time is flying. But I believe it was in the knitter Discord, and it was during one of the dice games. And I think was it you? You were talking about your wife as a shuffle, and everybody wanted to know like who your wife was and what shuffle it was. And that was
it. I'm actually surprised you actually remembered about this. Jesus, I almost forget about it. Like, I was like, what is this guy actually talking about? Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I wondered about that, because then I went away and I was like, wait a second. Because I had noticed this was like, I mean, the Alex NFT project had started to take off, but it hadn't quite reached its like fever pitch that it really got there. And I was like, wait a second, I think that the Alex artist is a woman. And then I figured it out. And and then I entered that shuffle you were trying to hide from me, and I lost. Like every other shuffle. It's okay. It's going to be all right. I'm going to recover. All right. So enough about me. But okay, why don't we talk a little bit about how you guys got here? Like, I know you're a married couple, correct?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. And so how, I mean, obviously, Sevanya, you're the artist, and how, maybe you can tell me a little bit about your journey as an artist, and then how, what I'm guessing, Fatalix got you kind of wrapped into, got you caught into this NFT world, but that's me projecting possibly. So
well,
how...
No, you're not projecting. Actually, every single bit of artistic kind of like streak for my wife was actually my kind of invention.
He was trying to convince me to do the NFTs for a long time, but I wasn't really interested because I had no idea what it is about. I wasn't really into cryptocurrencies or anything like that, but I knew he was doing it. And he just simply showed me what it looks like. Because, I normally live in Poland with my daughter, and he lives in Ireland for now, and it was the time when he came over to Poland, and that's when we could finally, talk more about this. He showed me what it looks like, and then I decided, okay, it looks pretty simple, so I can do it.
Yeah.
The minting process and everything is really easy, so that's how everything started. It was pretty simple. There was nothing more into it. And I wasn't an artist before. I had just a regular, normal, very boring job. And I mean, I had some artistic talent, as people were telling me, but I wasn't really developing it. So I think I just developed thanks to NFTs, because cool. When I started, I started with cats, and as you can see from the beginning, they are very simple.
Yeah.
And then I invented Alex, and he's also very simple in the beginning. And then I started adding a little bit more details. I got more knowledge how to use the tablet, sort of, because I had to learn everything. I haven't been using it before. So yeah, it's a big journey for me as well.
Well, see, like Sevanya actually forgot to mention that she was actually doing a photography, and that was also my achievement actually, because I bought her her first DSLR camera, so she was actually trying it out, and actually she has a good talent and good eye for the subject that she's actually taking photographs of. So she actually started with the photography. We were doing kind of like photo sessions for different people, some of them artistic, some of them not, and it was a lot of kind of stuff going on for several years, and then it actually stopped because she went back to Poland, so she didn't have that much time. But effectively, that doesn't mean she's wasn't skilled in using all of those software suits that she's using at the moment, because she was really proficient in Photoshop. And to my actual surprise, she's using an entirely different suit for developing all of those NFTs as well. So it's kind of why didn't you use the tools that you actually were familiar with? But because she started with that tool, because our daughter actually mentioned that this is actually quite a useful one.
That's another story actually, because
she just stuck with it.
Our daughter is very talented in drawing, and she was using the tablet before for the drawing purposes, and she was the one who introduced me to it, and I had to take some lessons from her.
Oh my gosh! I love this. And your daughter, You told me before we got on, but your daughter, it's not like your daughter's 27.
No.
She's only 14.
Yeah, so cute.
But, yeah.
Well, I mean, what a cool, I mean, that sounds like you guys have a great dynamic. Fatalix is like seeing the talent and being like, here's a camera. All right.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what it is.
Your daughter is like, all right, mom, here's a tablet. Like, just do this. You're good. You're good.
See,
Mom, you're
no
good.
choice.
Honey, you're good. Yeah, you're being bullied, Sevanya.
No choice, I gave up.
You gave up, and now they've got you in a closet just drawing all day.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
I sit in the closed room, and I don't see anyone for 15 hours a day.
Well, I'm looking forward to Sunday for you. Well, you've probably the art's probably pretty finished at this point, right?
Not really, no, because I still have Alex's to draw, and a cat's project is an ongoing project. And also I'm going to draw another 100 traits in the next few months. So there will be still a lot of things.
That's why no holidays for her.
Yeah.
No holidays. No more.
I'll go out with my daughter, but like she's gonna be staying over here drawing.
Come on.
You can go to the backyard and have one glass of wine. Then you're back.
Or maybe I can have it with me, right?
Well, what I will say about just my impression of your art, Sevanya, is that even though that you're not some longtime artist, there's in every piece, from the cats to the Alex's to Project Raven, there's such a clear point of view, and it makes somebody like me as receiving the art, it makes me feel something. So that's why I've been excited about your project, and since it came on my radar. So congratulations and good job, Fatalix, for seeing the talent in your love. So that's pretty cool. All right. And so how about you? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I tend to do that. I'll just keep on talking, and I'm supposed to be the one that is asking the questions. I get it.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to thank you, because that's very nice to hear. And, it sometimes also feels a bit weird, because I remember when I started, I didn't perceive myself as an artist at all. And when someone was telling me that this is my art, I was like, come on, like I can't even draw, right? So it still feels a little strange, although I'm kind of getting used to it, because this is what I do all the time right now. I quit my job for this, so this is my job.
Yeah, and I think it's
something I really love doing, so I hope it'll continue.
I have a good feeling about that. And good for you for being able to quit that job and do this. I think it's official. I think you're an artist. I think it's
you're gonna get a new name tag.
I mean, that's
and then isn't it kind of always the best though when these types of things just kind of happen and you weren't even trying, and then it's just all of a sudden like a part of you is unlocked, and then it's just like, it's not like you were like, oh, how do I become an artist? I'm going to read a book about it or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like all of a sudden you're just doing it and you're in the thick of it. And I imagine if you're able to quit your job, you're able to generate some income. So that's so cool. How about
that's me. Sorry, just once again. Yeah. This is normal for me because I always do things like what I feel, right? So I've changed so many professions because I felt like, okay, I want to do this, right? And I'm going to learn it. And it was the same with photography. And I did some other like crafts stuff and things like that. So I always had some kind of artistic soul. That's what I was looking for. And I suppose that was just driving me to where I am right now.
Absolutely. And and so... in defense of what you were just saying, exactly. Sometimes it takes that effort to, go buy a book to end up where you're going to end up. For example, I, have a history in acting and stand-up comedy. And eventually I came to do this thinking, I could meld them. And then I had no idea the part that I was going to enjoy the most were having conversations like this. And it just kind of presented itself for me. So, I'm hoping to keep it going as well. So,
you're doing a good job anyway.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. How about you? Fatalix? What is your history? I imagine, and maybe a more traditional angle with you. Like, how did you how did you get to, you know, blockchain? And I mean, you're the tech guy, so, you know, that tech side, and in the end, maybe you can tell me how you found Algorand.
So for me, like, I've been a developer for over 15 years. So it's just mostly it was revolving around like a standard kind of like a web oriented development. And the blockchain just happened when the whole kind of blockchain craze started, you know, like several years ago. Like Ethereum started going up. And then I realized I have a GPU that is sitting idly, you know, so I might just as well start actually doing all of that. And then I started doing calculations because that's the person I am, you know, like if I can calculate profits, you know, like I can start expanding. So I ended up having like 12 GPUs, like mining all the time. And the funny fact is, like, all of that was happening at home in the middle of the summer. And the temperature inside the house was like 30 degrees or something like that when I was going back from work, you know, so it was roasting, but the winter was cozy and nice.
It was wonderful in the winter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was saving on the electricity bill big time. But then like the whole thing kind of stopped, and I sold most of my assets that I had and just retained few of the GPUs. And then it was really, really quiet for several years. And then suddenly, like last year, kind of come January, I see all of those big spikes all over the markets. And I was like, what the hell? You know, like I actually have to start doing with this, because I had a big stash of Ethereum from those mining days anyway.
Yeah.
And I thought like, well, that's nice. You know, maybe I will just look for something else, you know. And then suddenly one day, like I was just browsing Reddit and just noticed this article about Algorand and how it actually solves the trilemma and how efficient it is. You know, I was like, this is freaking awesome. You know, I have to give it a go. You know, so initially, like I just bought the Algorand, you know, and I thought like, oh, this is going to be a great investment, you know. But then eventually, at one point when the whole info kind of like flood started about the governance and stuff like that, you know, I thought like, well, maybe I should create a wallet and see what it is, you know. And I was kind of like, I think August. Another thing that actually drove me to Algorand was the Alchemon, you know. So that was the first kind of like play to earn kind of game that I heard about on the Algorand ecosystem. And I remember like I got like few common ones from the first edition, and I still have them, which is brilliant. You know, I'm just kicking myself I didn't buy more of them, because they were actually easily accessible, even though I didn't manage to actually craft any of the higher level ones. But that's how it all started. You know, like I started with Alchemon, and then I was kind of like jumping from one NFT to another. Eventually, I stumbled upon the project Aegir, and they were really awesome. I love the art. Like it's really, really something different, you know. And then it's just kind of like naturally started expanding, you know. Like you get hooked, and you really can't stop, you know. Like, and look at me now, you know, I have over like 500 NFTs in my portfolio, and it keeps growing every day. You know, the tag today, like I bought 6 of them, you know. So the thing is like
wait, I'm sorry, which one did you buy 6 of?
Oh, the tag, the totally average cats.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I bought 6 of them. Why not?
Oh, you're hooked. Yeah. I do want to say I met the what is his name? Is his name Jim? I don't know if his name's Jim, but the one of the guys behind project how do you say it? Aegir, yeah.
Yeah, Jim. Yeah, that's the guy.
Jim. Yeah, that's the guy. What a great guy that guy is.
Oh, he's
that's
awesome,
a cool project. Yeah, he's really cool. Really funny guy. Well, that sounds fantastic. So, okay, so was it when you were mining? Was it strictly Ethereum?
No, it was actually a mix of different cryptocurrencies at that time. Like I started off with like Litecoin, Ethereum, then I kind of switched to Monero. And what else I was mining? There were a few other minor cryptocurrencies that I was doing some stuff with it, you know, like, but there's nothing really to be happy about, you know, and I don't remember them anymore. Actually, I do remember one of them. Like I was briefly kind of mining Decred. And I was actually surprised to see that Decred is actually still a thing, even though like, it's priced way below what I was mining it for. But at the time, back last year, it I actually had like 5 times profit that I made on it, even though I mined it probably maybe for like a week or so, so like I made maybe like $200 on this, but I was still surprised, like seeing it after so many years, like the cryptocurrencies rise and fall, like, so something that actually happened like 5 years ago, like might not still be there.
Yeah.
This one was, to my surprise. But yeah, it was different. It was different cryptocurrencies, like mostly kind of like oriented about the Dagger Hashimoto protocol, so I could actually mine them on my GPUs. I never touched Bitcoin because I could never justify the reason for actually buying all of those ASICs that would actually be only good for actually mining a Bitcoin. I want to game on my GPUs, so if I can mine with them at the same time, all the better. But I wouldn't be buying application-specific kind of like ICs because like it just doesn't make any sense to me, especially with rapidly kind of expanding market on the Bitcoin. It's just simply like you buy it and then the next month it's obsolete, So that's it, so it was mostly that.
I can imagine that there's a lot of gamers out there with this Ethereum merge supposedly happening that are pretty pleased that the GPU prices are going to go down. But,
yeah, me too. Imagine that. Like I'm still actually using my GPU from back of those Ethereum mining days because like I couldn't justify splashing over 1,000 euros for a GPU. Now the NVIDIA are actually dropping in prices, so which is good because I'm looking for something that I can do to actually utilize some kind of like a 3D design as well software, which I couldn't do with the AMD GPUs because last year I got interested in DAZ Studio, which is a very seamless experience for actually developing a 3D characters. And it's pretty awesome, but it uses NVIDIA iRay technology for rendering them. So my GPU was completely useless. I was spending like 1 hour to kind of render one simple image. So that's the stuff I'm looking for, really. So I'm happy that with the merge coming in, those GPUs are going to be flooding the market. And regardless what the people are saying about the used GPUs for mining, I would be buying them anyway. Because they are so much better.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of a myth, right? I mean, they're not going to be damaged, right?
No,
I mean,
they won't. Because I was mining the GPU I'm using at the moment for so many years, ever since I was mining Ethereum. It was actually being used to mine Ethereum for like, 7 months?
Yeah.
And it's still alive and kicking to my knowledge, Like my daughter has another of those GPUs in her box, and it's still alive and kicking just as well. So you see, like I've seen all of those kind of comments about the ball bearing in the fans kind of getting worn out, Like it's all absolute gobshite, Like seriously, like forgive me my language, but
no, come on! If you're going to say something like gobshite, you do not apologize for that. I love it.
But you see, that's it. So I'm kind of like a live example of those GPUs being absolutely usable even after so many months of actually heavy mining, because they retain their temperatures for so long, so they don't actually cool down and heat up so rapidly that it actually creates a cracks in the IC. So that's why they're actually perfectly stable,
Yeah.
So that's it, like people just don't know about it until they actually start mining. Because another funny thing is, like, after so many years, I had a stash of 4 of those GPUs still lying around. And because like last year, that whole kind of craze started all over again, I managed to sell them off at the same price I actually bought them like several years ago. And the guy that bought it from me didn't even bother asking questions. He knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. So you were able to get what you paid for after using them for however many years. I mean, that's a pretty good trade. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. And all that Ethereum or all that ETH that you brought in too.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So okay. You had mentioned Sevanya. You had mentioned that the cats were first. Now, is that the spectacular cats, or were you just drawing cats? Because I thought that Alex was first, but is Spectacular Cats the first one?
Yes, Spectacular Cats was the first project. You're right.
Yes, okay.
Because, I thought that cats are cute and easy to draw. So we wanted to experiment and see what it would be like. Besides, I saw that on Algorand NFTs of animals, I think, are very popular. So I thought, why not? Besides, I love cats. So but I couldn't really think of anything else. But they didn't really sell in the beginning. So I remember once I was just browsing the Twitter and I saw one of the tweets saying that Algorand is mostly men. It's mostly guys, or maybe not only Algorand. It's just the cryptocurrency world in general. It's like there is more men than women who do that. And then I started thinking that, okay, well, guys would probably not buy cute cats, right? Not really. So
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that you guys are you're helping change that narrative. And also I'm sorry, what are they called again? Not bored cats. What are they?
Totally average cats.
Oh, the average cats.
Yeah. But my cats were so cute. Like they were so simple. So I thought that, it's not really for guys. Although I know that right now they are quite popular. So, I'm happy to see that. But I thought that I should probably think of a different character just to see if it works. And I started drawing just whatever, and just Alex came out like this. Simply enough. It was very easy drawing, and I was happy with it. I thought it looked like a sketch, and I like drawings in that style. Yeah. So I showed it to my husband, and he said it's really nice. It's cool. My daughter said that he looks like an emo kid. So then that's why we figured out, okay, let's do it. It might be an emo kid. Why not? And we started looking for the name. And, we all figured out that Alex is a nice name for this character. So that's how it all started, pretty simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool because with NFTs, it's an interesting medium because it's like something that is drawn beautifully, or it could be very colorful and aesthetically pleasing. It just doesn't you don't connect to it. So you don't want to own it. You don't want to put it as a profile picture. I don't know. There's it's an interesting experience when something catches on and just something simple like your Alex character, just from the first time I saw it, it was just like it caught. I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this moody kid. Yeah.
We've also heard a few stories from our holders who said that Alex brings some memories from their school time, and some people had a very emotional experience when they saw one of the Alexes. So that's why we decided to do more emotions in the second part of Alexes, just to show that, emo kid is not just a sad boy, right? Yeah. It's emo is about emotions. So we wanted to introduce more emotions. But I can, I hear that a lot of people prefer the Alex in the very simple style. So the first drawings. And there is a large group also that loves the second part. So I think we've got something for everyone.
Yeah, I know my wife is she could be very critical of the NFT space. And every once in a while, I'll force her to look at something and be like, do you like this one? And way back whenever that was, how long ago did Alex launch? Do you guys know?
December the 22nd.
December. Right. So it would have been probably early this year I showed her and she was like, oh, that's cool. She's like, I like that. so maybe, she has she's a governor. So I got to probably figure out a way to get one of those in her wallet. And you also have Stacey Warden currently has her profile picture as an Alex, right?
Yeah, she somehow sneaked it into her PFP, which is actually a nice surprise for us,
Yeah.
Because we were actually wondering who actually purchased that Alex, and there's another Alex on that wallet that is actually an astronaut. So I was kind of thinking, if it's Stacey, well, maybe when actually Algorand moons, she will change her PFP to the other one. It's going to be perfect.
She's got a plan. She's got a plan. I love it. She got an astronaut. Oh, she's waiting for man. I don't even care if that's true. I'm going to operate as if that is true. And that makes me like her a lot, even more. And she also, when I spoke to her, when we were not recording, she was like, she was talking about NFT. She's like, I like and I think it was before she had changed it. She was like, I like the little character guy.
That's so nice.
Oh,
That's actually the first feedback we got from the second-hand opinion about coming actually from her, you know, so which is nice. Because we never heard anyone, or we never heard her actually complimenting the project herself, you know, so actually doing that from you, like, it's actually a good indication, you know.
Yeah, no, she likes it.
The little guy.
And don't quote me. She may have used different words. I'm not, look, but it was something along those lines. She described it in a fun way, but it made me know exactly what she was talking about. All right. So you have spectacular cats. They're a little like, okay, well, wait a second. It seems like all the guys in crypto prefer dogs to cats. So let's figure this out. I'll draw a guy, and then everyone around you is like, I like this. And then it took off. And then NF Domains, right? They come up with this cool thing, ARC19, and you guys are kind of, you know, I mean, we had mostly friends, and they're using ARC19. There's a lot of ARC19 popping up now, but you guys have been working on this from the beginning and kind of, you know, pushing this forward. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about how Project Raven came from, you know, I know it's Gen 2 of the Alexes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about, tell everybody a little bit about how you got the idea for Project Raven.
So the Project Raven was kind of like a natural progression from the Alex project itself, you know, because we wanted the Alex to actually have a girlfriend. So Raven is that girlfriend.
Oh, he did well.
Even though, like, we still haven't finished the Alex project, because the final few pieces are going to be a comic panels, and they will actually explain the backstory, how they actually met, and what was the Alex story. So it kind of like plays nicely that we actually stopped progression on the Alex series, because we wanted to get the Raven out of the door. And that will actually tie in nicely with those comic panels, because we already have a Raven out there. So we know how to draw her, and we can actually design those panels in a way that it will actually be a logical explanation for their meetup. So cool. That's the idea. And as I said, like, the idea behind this second generation was always a female character, because we wanted the Alex to actually have a girlfriend. And then the ARC19 kind of like popped in on my radar, and I thought, like, this is awesome. You know, like, I really would love to have a mutable system like this. And then we had one of the final auctions for the Alexes. And then one of the holders, I got trades, mentioned something that is called Fancy Bears, which is a project on Ethereum, and they actually use a full mutability like this. And then I was chatting with him for a while, and he showed me a few bits and bobs about the Fancy Bears, and I thought, like, this can be definitely doable in Algorand with ARC19. So then I started simply building up the initial proof of concept. And the moment that the first transaction was signed and successfully transmitted over to the testnet, you know, I was like, damn, it's going to work. We go with this. Yeah. And that was it, you know, like, from that point onward, it was fairly straightforward. Like, I was building the infrastructure. Sevanya was rapidly prototyping all of those assets, you know. But yeah, it's true. She was rapidly prototyping them, because we needed enough trades to actually do initial release. And the idea in my head was always about the 1,000 pieces, because it's still, so to speak, a proof of concept. I still need to kind of like rationalize whether this thing is actually going to be allowable with more base NFTs within the series. So it was my kind of like a safe bet. And on the other hand, like, because we were always thinking about being the first ones to get there, we thought like a limited series would be the best choice, because down the line, few years, you know, like, these are going to be going for a lot of algos, you know.
Yeah.
On top of that, you know, like if you own something that you are actually the first one to get there, you know, like with the full mutability, what's the idea? But again, like a lot of factors kind of like were put in order to actually get and arrive at that specific number. So
right.
Also the staking and at the end of staking period was also one of the factors, because it was supposed to finish, I think, on the 17th of June, and we managed July, yes. We managed to launch pre-launch Raven for our holders, for our Alex holders, the day before the staking was over, so they could be the first to fully experience the ARC19 project, and we really wanted to give them that opportunity. So we were really working hard to have it on time.
In simple terms, we really had a deadlines to kind of like adhere to, you know. So that was our ultimate goal, and like we really wanted to have this series to be relatively small, so we could actually gauge the performance of our infrastructure as well, you know. So a lot of factors kind of like ended up being a reason for the size of the collection and the way we actually designed it. But like the fancy bears were kind of like a first element that actually light a light bulb in my head, you know, in regards to like whether we can actually do something like this in the Algorand ecosystem. And the ARC19 was the second bit, you know, like when AlgoX NFT guys like Pilar was talking about the ARC19 possibilities, like the pure mutability, it only then kind of like occurred to me that, damn, this is entirely doable, you know, like we can do this.
Because I don't know if you remember, but the first ARC19 NFT was that we've launched was the last Alex
number 160.
Number 160. So he revealed his girlfriend. He revealed Raven on his T-shirt.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that.
Oh, you definitely missed that. Yeah.
That was the last auction before staking started, you know.
Right.
So that was a big surprise.
So effectively, that was the day when the Raven was actually born, so to speak, you know, because at that time, like we actually realized the potential of ARC19 fully. And we had the first ARC19 actually NFT released on the Algorand blockchain from the Alex project, you know. So
I did not know that. And how cool. So, you know, so ARC19 has been there for a bit. And
it's been there,
And so they weren't, when my impression is that Patrick Bennett is responsible for ARC19. Am I right about that?
I'm not entirely sure because I would have to check the GitHub commits. But there were a few people involved in specs for the ARC19.
I think it was a proposal in 2021.
Well, funnily enough, like actually on GitHub, it's still as a proposed stage. It's not actually live status, you know. So I guess Algorand Foundation actually have to actually change that because it's actually live, you know. So that's another funny thing, because I was actually browsing all of those ARCs recently looking for any new additions to it. And like only ARC69 is actually the live one, you know. ARC3 is the live one, you know, but the ARC19 is still kind of like a proposal status. So another funny thing. Even though actually, go ahead.
No, even though actually what?
Even though actually a lot of websites actually support it, you know, AlgoX NFT is supporting it, Rand Gallery is supporting it, NFT Explorer is actually fully supporting it, which I'm really, really amazed at what the guys actually did, because they have the only real-time system at the moment, as far as I'm aware. You know, so whenever we are actually minting Ravens, you know, that's the source of information you actually go to, you know, in order to actually refresh and get the latest image. Because Rand is actually having a button that you can refresh the metadata along with the image. And I'm not sure how the AlgoX NFT actually sorted it out, but I know like the guys were asking me questions about the few kind of sample transactions from the Raven project, so they could actually implement something like this. But NFT Explorer did an awesome job. Like kudos to them for their hard work, like
Yeah.
it's brilliant, so yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed that you're out there helping other people, implement ARC19 on their NFT projects, and so that's cool that the Algorand NFT community is very supportive of each other, from my vantage point. So I just want to, let's kind of break down real quick because, well, first of all, the public mint for Project Raven is on this Saturday, which is the 30th. At what time can people expect to be able to do that?
So we are hoping to announce this hopefully today or tomorrow, because we are trying to tie this in with Twitter Spaces that the Algorand NFT is going to be organizing, because we eventually going to be doing the public release on their platform.
Okay.
So hopefully sometime after that.
Yeah, but we were thinking it would be somehow close to 7 p.m. EST. So in the evening time, but we will announce it probably later today, because I think we are at the final stage of sorting out everything.
Yeah, we got.
By the way, this won't come out before tonight. So so we're free. I won't. This will either come out tomorrow morning. It'll be obviously come out before your launch. I mean, I'm like, are you guys happy if I put this out on Sunday? I'm just kidding. So okay, let's but I'm also thinking for myself. So just to expect it on Saturday night or somewhat late afternoon for me. Okay, so I'm going to run through a couple of things, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more. So the Alex project, I believe that's a very low amount, right? There's only like 222 Alexes, or there's only ever, right? And then you said the last one was 160. So you still have some Alexes to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But because we are so focused on the Raven project, the holders have to kind of forgive us for all of those delays, but rest assured that we will actually deliver all of those outstanding Alexes, and we really want to kind of get to the point where we can actually do the comic panels, because those will be the ones that will actually explain the backstory behind Alex and Raven.
Besides those remaining Alexes, they are the staking rewards. So we've just reversed the staking, distributing the staking rewards, So we started with the second generation, but we are going to deliver the rest of the Alexes. And there will be a few very cool collabs included as well within those remaining Alexes.
So so this is something that we kind of like wanted to reward our holders with, Normally we would be doing collabs as an auction form, but because like all of the remaining Alexes will be actually holders rewards, like we were still planning a few collabs as well. They will end up in the pool of all of those rewards too,
Got it. And then, so now we have V2 Project Raven, and there's going to be 1,000 bases, right?
999.
999 bases, and then there's currently 200 traits, and then you're going to be adding 100, or
no? Currently there's 70 traits. With the public release, there's going to be 100, and then after that we're going to be slowly releasing another 100 traits. The only difference is, like at the moment, we released 600 traits per class, so that's 4,800 traits in total as a single units, because there are multi-mints. With the public release, there's going to be another 30 traits that will up that number to 900. And then the remaining 100 traits are going to be distributed in the amount of total of 300 units per each class. So that will bring the number over to 9,600 traded assets and 999 bases. So that gives us this kind of like a flexibility for the users to actually own more trades that they can actually put on. So they have a flexibility of actually choosing those trades.
And trade some of them, because, all parts in our project are tradable.
Yeah.
So you can trade the trades, you can trade a base without any trades, or you can trade a base with trades. Or it can be one trade on, it can be 8 trades. We might introduce more to this, but this is just not public yet.
Now it is, actually.
Yeah, but I'm not saying how many or anything like that. No details at all. Just a little bit of a hint, that you can expect a little bit more from what you can see right now.
Right.
We are also going to do some very cool collabs, and we are hoping to do cross-chain collabs as well. So this is one of the main goals of Project Raven, is to bring people from other blockchains to Algorand.
Yes,
so really,
absolutely.
We want to focus on that a lot because we feel that our community has to grow and it needs more and more people.
And the other thing is, Algorand, from the time I was using it for the several months now, it makes such a huge difference. I was participating in a few whitelists for the Ethereum system, and it's nowhere near as what Algorand can actually offer. All of those transactions are blazing fast.
Yeah.
Finality 4.5 seconds. It's brilliant. So the thing is, ever since I started using the first kind of wallet I created on the Algorand ecosystem, I've been so in awe of how the technological prowess of the third generation of those blockchains is. Even to the point, I've even tried Solana at one point. And the thing is, with Solana, I just couldn't find the thing that I was actually taking for granted in the Algorand ecosystem, NFT Explorer.
Right.
There's no such thing over there.
There isn't, huh? No,
in Ethereum, you have OpenSea, fair enough, but I don't think there's all of the projects over there. You have multi-site chains, so that makes things overly complicated. But in Solana, when I was trying to actually sell some of the NFTs that I actually bought over there, which is a Farm Friends, which was a big kind of rug on the Solana system, and that was the only NFT series on the Solana that I was actually digging into it. And I was looking for the means of actually selling them, And then I realized
that was before the rug, I hope.
No, that was after the rug.
After the rug,
Yeah, a lot of people were actually rugged because a lot of people were actually brought over from the Algorand ecosystem over to Solana because of that. And the Discord they have was really lively. It was really amazing thing to see. But the thing is, in the end, because they didn't sell enough, they just kind of packed their bags and gone. But as I said, I was trying to kind of see if there's any means of actually me selling all of that stuff somewhere, And the lack of something like NFT Explorer is it seriously makes it all the things more complicated, So that's why I'm every time I'm going back to the Algorand ecosystem, I know where I look at. I can look up any asset on NFT Explorer if it's an NFT type, and it's going to display whatever the data I'm actually looking for, which makes this blockchain really, really awesome in that regard. The amount of time you actually spend searching for NFTs, it's so much less than on any other blockchains.
It's so easy. And it's, what I always say on my channel, and I think a lot of us are always saying, is if we just could get these people over here, they'll see, what they're missing. And
exactly,
I do think that I spoke with the new CTO, John Woods, and I do think that state proofs are going to really help with this, this bridging. And he, it sounds like, you might be able to send some of these Ravens over to the Cardano blockchain in not too long, if my guess is right. But okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so I want to say for one, just to hone in on Project Raven, I think we've got the specifics down. But you have a very enthusiastic supporter. His I think it's Shek Juarez is his Twitter handle, and he was kind enough to. I'm assuming it's a he. It was kind enough to. Yeah. And so was kind enough to send me send me a Raven to just, with the promise of returning. But so I, this wasn't.
Hopefully, this will actually end up in the 4.5 seconds finality.
Yeah, it will. It will. It'll be like, wow, this is the first transaction that's ever failed. Weird. Why won't it let me send it back? I'm just kidding. He knows where to find me. But my point is that I got to play around a little bit with it, and it was absolutely seamless. And I think it's just ARC19 in general, but especially with this, where there's all of these different traits, and you hinted at it, like, I can trade, a gun for a bow or whatever it is, whatever the trait is, wherever I identify. And I was just thinking, how cool is it? And I kind of mentioned this before we hit record, but like, if I'm going to like a concert that day and whatever, I can kind of like change up my NFT or my profile picture or whatever, however I'm using the NFT to kind of reflect my mood or my day or whatever. And I just think that that's such a cool shift, and something that's, pushing NFTs and profile pictures in general forward to make them more exciting rather than, just a still image that doesn't change, which is also
cool.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, all right. So, okay. So we have all these traits. You're going to launch on Saturday. I mean, what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something here. I want to ask you a little more about ARC19 before I let you guys off the hook. We are going kind of long. I hope you guys are okay with that.
No, absolutely fine.
Okay, great. So do you see any downfalls to, because right now it's just, ARC19 is, from my vantage point, is just really kind of jazzing everybody up. Like everybody's really excited, and it's nice because it's not the nicest time in crypto. We're all, most of us are down, or we've at least lost most of our gains if you're a holder, whatever, unless you're an incredible trader. Or even just a good trader, I guess, could still be making money right now. But I'm diverting. I told you I'd be all over the place. But I guess my point is that, do you see any downside to it, or any risk or trap that we might be, being so excited about this?
Absolutely. The first thing that comes to my mind is IPFS storage, because with the fully mutable project, to bring an example of Raven series, right? With 70 traits, we have about 28 million unique combinations. That means that we have to actually possibly pin 28 million pins to the IPFS network. And if you calculate the average size of each image at 3.5 megabytes, right? That brings the total to roughly about 100 terabytes of data. So even with the best providers, it's actually making things awfully difficult. So we mentioned that on our last AMA session on the Twitter, that we might have to be forced to actually trim all of the past iterations of all of the modifications people have done to their bases, because we will run out of disk space, or we will run out of the amount of pins that are allowable on our provider. Right. So that's the biggest downside, storage space. And now imagine this, with 200 traits, it's 192 billion combinations. And that roughly amounts to about 530 odd something petabytes of data, which is in thousands of terabytes. So even with the biggest hard drives that we have at the moment at 22 terabytes coming from Western Digital recently, that would require a lot of drives. So I was kind of thinking, like, what we can do in order to actually retain that data. And it's the biggest hassle of ARC19, because like you are actually forced to actually store all of that data into the IPFS network in order to actually provide the past history of all of the changes. And you simply can't do it. But there is actually a resolution to this. Like we store ARC69 along with ARC19 data. So even though we're going to be deleting those images, right, at one point, not now, we can still recover those images with the perfect CID of the original that was actually deleted from the IPFS network just based on the ARC19 data, because we are planning on actually removing all of those or modifying all of those layers that we are actually combining together in order to actually produce the final image. So there's always a way, but still it's a major limitation of ARC19 because it actually forces the producers to actually generate the huge amounts of data. With mostly friends, they have 4 stages of evolution. So that makes things simpler. With Algorand, it makes things even more simple because with their own kind of like algo-related price kind of like index NFT design, right? Like they only have like 2,700 odd combinations. So they can easily store them somewhere on their own server, so they can store them on the IPFS network. With our series, that's not the case because we are actually allowing people to freely mutate their own NFTs whenever they want, or whatever way they want. So that makes it all more complicated with more trades that are actually coming in, you know?
Right.
That's the biggest limitation of ARC19, I'd say.
We are already thinking of the solution.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're already thinking of the solution, but
he's already got the solution in his head. I can tell you that.
I heard it. I maybe I don't fully understand it, but I heard it. Now, I do want to say, so then there's a good moment for maybe a word of, caution for everybody to pause for a moment. And when every single project is promising massive amounts of traits and, because this has gotten cool and people are trying to follow suit, there's risk there. You need to make sure, because in the end, if you can't provide the storage for this, the project could just eventually disappear. Is that true?
Well, in a sense, like you see, like in our case, like we actually trying to make people aware that we can assure them of the certainty of the last iteration of the change to be actually present in the IPFS network. So the last image will be available over there, but we cannot assure people that the past iterations will actually be there, because we have to keep them under a specific level.
But they can still be restored, so they don't really disappear, It's not like you're losing something, but you can't see it right now. But
you see, the thing is,
I understand what he's explaining to me.
You see, in simple terms, like if you look at our website, right, and if you look at the traffic actually we generate from the website when you're actually modifying the assets, is 99% of the modifications are done locally. So all of those little images and all of the bigger images are simply constructed on the fly on our website without actually touching the IPFS network. The main image can be loaded up. There is a link on the website that you can actually verify the content. You can also go to the NFT Explorer. But the thing is, like, we can generate those images on the fly on the website whenever way we want. So that's why I said it, that if people will actually see a need for seeing the past iterations of the changes they've made to their own base, we can provide that functionality without actually touching the IPFS network at all.
Oh, cool. That's really cool. And so I get that. And that makes perfect sense to me. And so that's cool. And now on the flip side of that, what kind of potential do you see in ARC19? Is there anything that you're not seeing, it maybe hasn't come to fruition yet, but like kind of like cool things that are in your head that, you might be able to use this technology for?
Metaverse. Just one word.
What's that?
Just Metaverse.
Yeah. Right.
So if we ever actually gonna get a semblance of Metaverse that we get from different blockchains, like the Sand, for example, they have their own sandbox for the Metaverse. We could possibly just use those traits for battling other players. Like you can exchange your loadout on the fly, depending on what traits you have, without the need of actually going and buying a specific NFT which has those traits that you are actually looking for. So with the ARC19, like you have so many different possibilities. you know?
Yeah.
Like you can change the image that you want. You can change the ARC19 data, which goes like, we could possibly introduce something like stats for different traits. So for example, because she's obviously a kind of like a silent assassin, like some people actually mentioned, you know, like she could have traits like endurance, stamina, you know, defense, attack, you know, depending on the loadout she actually equips at that specific time. She could go into that metaverse and actually do and go battle with those traits. So this is awesome, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm really kind of waiting for a first sandbox experience on the Algorand ecosystem. I'm really looking forward to it, especially in the light of what Unreal Engine 5 is actually doing nowadays. Like their ecosystem is absolutely brilliant. I've been in awe ever since I actually tested the first version of the Unreal 5, like the nanite technology, the lightning, the mega structures, you know, like all of that stuff makes design process so much simpler, you know,
Right.
and we could actually tap into it. I know Aegir Legends are probably going to be using Unreal 5 for their own kind of game.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome because I asked Jim about it at one stage and he said, like, since UE5 is actually out there, why not use it? Especially when transition is so much simpler nowadays, you know, with all of those kind of like a satellite applications that allow you to actually tap into the UE5 ecosystem, you know, it makes it so much easier for the creators to actually develop a fully fledged product with very little effort. And I think this is amazing, you know, if something like this would actually end up in the Algorand ecosystem, this would be really a massive win for us.
Yeah. And do you see anybody working towards that in a
I haven't
substantial
heard
way?
about it, but like the closest that I can think of is Cosmic Champs, because they do their NFTs in 3D.
Right.
Although it's actually heavy on the package that they are actually loading in order to actually display it. So I guess other games are actually taking a huge hit on their APIs in regards to actually loading those 3D NFTs. But the thing is, like, anything is really possible, you know, and I'm really hoping that someone skilled enough in the actually 3D graphics is actually going to bring something resembling the Sand actually ecosystem, because that's really awesome.
With the metaverse in general, like, I mean, how bullish are you on the fact that this is going to be able to scale and actually realize itself?
Absolutely, you can scale it. Like, for me, for so many years, the biggest obstacle was the actually storage technology. Like now with the SSD drives, like it kind of like changes the whole landscape. But in fairness, like with all of those SSDs, like even the storage that kind of resembles the standard kind of spinning drives, you know, we're nowhere near yet there, you know, and we need storage really, really badly. Because if you look at the prices of the storage of all of those cloud services, you know, like AWS, Google Cloud, you know, and all of the other services, you know, it's still too pricey, you know, like that's the reason why I was kind of thinking, like, I looked it up extensively, trying to compare different providers that could actually offer the storage that I would actually be looking for. But the cost would be in the amounts of thousands of euros, you know, especially with the 200 trades actually we would be releasing in the end, you know.
Right.
The biggest problem, you know, storage.
Yeah.
Like stores can handle this pretty well. You know, like good example, like from our last AMA session, someone asked me like what latest games I was actually playing, you know, and the Genshin Impact was the answer for me, you know. And what I'm amazed about the Genshin Impact is its engine. It plays well on the Android, it plays well on PC, it plays well in 4K, and the animations are amazing. Texturing is brilliant, you know. And then think about UE5, you know, what they can do with their Matrix demo. You know, that was pretty awesome, you know, the way they described that they could actually render a movie in real time, adjust the angles of the cameras, you know, to make the perfect shot for each single scene, you know. It makes it awesome. you know,
Yeah.
the problem is storage, you know, your texture, your 3D models, you know, lightning, scene, all of that stuff, you know. Like Sevanya is working originally in the 10K by 10K resolution, you know. That takes a lot of space as well. We have to scale it down to 3K by 3K in order to actually make the load up of those NFTs relatively fast on NFT Explorer and other websites, you know. But it all comes down to the storage itself, you know. This is the biggest hurdle.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, look, I had so much fun talking to you guys. Is there anything that you want to make sure is there anything I missed that you want to make sure everybody knows?
What we would like to say out loud is we would like to thank all of our holders, Spectacular Cats, Alex holders, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So big thank you for all of the support we received throughout all of those months we've been over here in the Algorand ecosystem.
Not only from the holders, but also the Algo Fund, because this community is amazing. I mean, we've really enjoyed being here for those past, I think it's like 7 or 8 months already.
Yeah.
So it's been an incredible journey, and everyone is very supportive, and we appreciate every bit of support. That's really awesome. So thank you very much. And I think we're already happy with what we have achieved, even with the pre-release. So it's huge, you know. So thank you very much, and we are really looking forward to Saturday and Sunday.
Well-deserved rest.
Yeah. Well, good luck on Saturday, and enjoy Sunday in your backyard. Don't go to the beach; it's not worth it. And I really appreciate you guys coming on.
And thanks a lot for having us. We really appreciate that as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to Saturday and, you know, tracking how this all goes for you.
Thanks a lot for us. Yeah. Fingers crossed it's going to go well.
I think it is. It sounds like it's going to go well. All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Sure. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.